Kia ora, welcome. I'm Caroline, and I'll be guiding you through this 30-minute chair yoga practice today. Just before we get started, a few things you might need. Ideally, you have a chair that is similar to this in that it has no arms on it. Just because some of the shapes we're going to turn sideways on the chair. It's not essential, so if that's not possible, that's okay. Additionally, perhaps a block, if you have something like a yoga block or two, or a book, maybe something that's around that same size, a book that you can use as a prop on the floor. And finally, maybe a pillow if you think that might be necessary to prop your seat up a little bit or to put onto your lap when we do some folding forward. So up to you whether you need those props or not, but go ahead and get gathered what you might need, and we'll meet back here in a second to begin our practice. Great, so getting comfortable in your chair, and again, as I mentioned a moment ago, if that means adding a pillow to your seat, just taking a pillow and propping your seat up with that. Just grab my pillow here and bring it underneath me. And sometimes just that little bit of a lift can help you to feel like you can sit a little bit taller in your seat. With your feet, we want them to touch the ground. And if they don't quite reach the ground, that's where we're going to use these books or blocks underneath our feet so that they do have something that they can push down into. So in addition to feeling your feet push down into the ground, we want to really feel our seat push down into the chair, and then taking our hands maybe onto our thighs or onto your seat itself and pushing down there as well. So we have these 3 points where we're really focusing on grounding, on bringing our attention here and the texture of the weight of our hands, our feet, and our seat against the solidness of the surface underneath them. And as you push down, perhaps bring your attention right up to the very top of your head and see if you can lift that up a little bit taller. And just notice what that feels like to sit up a little bit taller. And if it feels okay to stay there, keeping that sort of a posture. And if you need to kind of add a little bit of a rounding to your spine to get a little bit more comfortable, that's absolutely fine. So let's begin here by taking our attention inside of ourselves. So you're going to take your gaze and turn it inside. And that might mean that you look down at your own body. That might mean that you gently close your eyes over, or just find a soft focus out in front of you so that you can begin to notice what's happening in your internal landscape. Noticing the quality of your breathing, how the breath is coming and going today. Maybe you notice a shortness of breath or a quickness of breath, or perhaps the opposite. Your breath is slow and deep, maybe somewhere in the middle. There's no right or wrong right now. So just notice what's present for you and see if you can do that with sort of a curiosity rather than any kind of a judgment or any idea that you should be other than you are right now. Just taking it all in. And as you continue to scan your internal landscape, notice any tension or discomfort in your body, any aches or pains, maybe any places that feel okay today, even good. In addition to those places where there's not a whole lot of feeling, and all of that being a normal experience. So just getting an overall sense for, okay, this is how I am today. And we'll do the same thing at the finish of this session so you can have a little idea or a picture of what effect this may have had for you today. Right. So become a little more deliberate with our breath. Now, I'll encourage you to breathe through your nose, but if that doesn't feel possible today or your nose is blocked, you can use your mouth, of course, at any time. So what we're going to do is take a big full breath in through the nose, maybe the deepest breath you've taken yet today. And just hold that in for a moment. Give yourself that moment of quiet. And then fully let the breath release through the nose if you can, but always okay to use the mouth. And then again, filling up as full of a breath as you can. And then exhale and release. Okay. Great. Let's take 3 cycles of breath where we count our breath. So as you take your next breath in, go ahead and count how long that takes. It doesn't matter what the number is that you get to. And then as you exhale, match that same count. And again, we inhale, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever number you get to is fine. As you exhale, same number, same count. And one more time, just evening out, balancing out the breath. Good. And if your eyes are closed or looking down, feel free to blink them open or just to take a little look around your space, kind of placing yourself in the environment that you're in. And we'll begin by moving our shoulders a bit. So just taking the shoulders up, back, and down away from the ears. And then maybe on this third cycle, you begin to coordinate that with your breathing. So the inhale brings the shoulders up, and the exhale takes them back and down. 2 more times, inhaling, lifting, exhaling back and down, and one more time, inhale, lift, exhale, rolling the shoulders back and down. Good one. We're going to tick-tock the head here side to side a few times, stretching out through the neck. So we're center, then dropping the ear one way, coming back through center and over to the other side. Go 2 or 3 times on each side there, and just noticing any tension, any discomfort in the neck. And then after this last one, maybe there's the inclination or the urge to kind of let your head move freely here. So please feel free to add any movement there in your head and your neck and your shoulders that might be helpful in reducing or relieving a little bit of stress or tension held there. Good one. We'll come back through. We're going to take the hands now and bring them down onto your legs. Now you might be reaching all the way to your knees, or you might be holding on up onto your thighs somewhere, but we're kind of gripping onto our legs a little bit. And we're taking an inhalation to lift up through the spine. So you're coming up into an upright position and then possibly moving past that. So I'll turn to the side so perhaps you can see this a little bit more easily. So as you inhale, you're lifting tall, and then maybe even going past that into a bit of a back bend. If you have no neck issues, maybe your chin lifts up a bit here. And then we do the opposite. As you exhale, you allow your back to round, the shoulders to drop in, the chin to drop in. Using again that grip or hold on your legs here. And then inhale, pulling up, chest moves forward and up. And exhale, back and down. And just continuing that, maybe 2 or 3 more times at your own pace. Good. And finishing off that last round, we'll come back through to center. We're going to take the left hand down onto the chair or the seat next to you and reach the right arm directly up above you. Now, if that hurts your shoulder, you can always have a bent elbow or even keep the arm down if there's a real restriction there. As you take an exhalation, you're going to lean into the hand that's resting on your seat. Stretching into your side here. Again, remember that top arm could also be down at your side or out at more of a 90-degree angle, bent at the elbow. Great, let's come up from there and just take that over the other way. So we're pushing down both into the feet and the hand here, and then lifting up through the opposite arm if that's accessible, and then coming over into your side stretch. Good one. One more breath here, steady breathing. So remembering that even breath we just worked on before, and kind of incorporating that into this practice when you can. Coming up from there, and we'll move into a twist. So your left hand's coming slightly behind you, either on your seat or onto the back of your chair. Your right hand crosses over onto your left leg. We sit up nice and tall as we breathe in. And then exhale and twist yourself around. It could be that today it feels best to twist the head on its own, or maybe your shoulders twist or part of your rib cage begins to spin around. Now untwist, come back through to center and take it over the other way. One hand behind and the other hand onto your opposite leg. We're sitting up nice and tall first. Inhale. As you breathe out, as the lungs empty out, you begin to twist. You've got that space as your lungs begin to empty to be able to move the torso a little bit more freely. Good one. And we'll come back through to center from there. Great job. Let's just work now on syncing our breathing and our movement. So we'll do a simple arm movement. That might be an opening and a closing, or a lifting and a lowering. Up to you how you go about this. Just working with what feels okay in your shoulders and your arms. So you could start with hands at center, opening out as you breathe in and then closing. Or taking a big circle with the arms, lifting up and coming back down. And another alternative would be to lift up through the fingers and then back down to touch your legs. So I'll let you choose the movement that works for you. Inhaling to open or lift. Exhaling to close or release the arms back down. Moving at your own pace here. Let's take this through a few rounds. I'll leave you to it. Just work at your own pace. Two more cycles here. Last round. Syncing up the breath and the movement as a way to keep our attention, keep our focus on what we're doing. Awesome. Releasing from there. So we've worked our arms, our shoulders, our neck, our side body, sort of our torso area. Let's just work a little bit further down, and then we'll kind of combine some of what we're doing into a sun salutation. So let's take the right leg, cross it over the left, and just move the foot around a bit here. So we're kind of loosening up through the ankle joint. And then a little bit more deliberately pulling the toes back towards you and then pointing them away. So just working some of the muscles in the foot and that lower part of your leg. Good one. And then just lifting up a bit so you can shake that leg out as you bring it back down to the ground. Crossing the other one over, and just some simple circles there. Maybe taking them one way and then the other, and noticing how your ankle is. And then we flex actively, the toes come back, then they point away. And you might watch your leg as you do that so that you can really feel what's going on in the foot, the calf, the shin, that lower part of your limb there. Good. And as you lift the leg up, just shaking it out a bit to bring it back down onto the ground. Good. So we're going to bring both legs out in front of us now. So here's a place where a prop might be handy. So again, you might take something underneath your feet if it's difficult to stretch them out in front of you without a prop. So I've got my feet here on yoga blocks. You could also use a book, but you don't need any prop. And then we're going to sit up nice and tall, and then you might want a pillow here. So if you have a pillow handy and you think that might be helpful as you come forward to rest your torso or your belly on, feel free to bring that onto your legs. So we're just gently beginning to lean forward, enough so that maybe you feel a stretch here in your neck, your spine, the backs of your legs, any or all of those places. You might choose to rest the hands on the legs, kind of supporting yourself here. You might feel free to kind of fold and drape forward, allowing the weight of your body to kind of carry you forward, releasing the neck if that feels okay, maybe even wiggling the head around to kind of let go of tension in the neck. Nice steady breath in and out through your nose if you can. One more breath here. We're going to roll our way up from there. And if you've got that pillow on your lap, you might just set that to the side. So let's combine some of these movements that we've been doing into a sun salutation, which we will do here from our seat. So to begin the sun salutation, we're going to take an arm movement, and it's a simple inhale, reach the arms up, and then exhale, bring the palms together just here in front of your chest. So I just want you to pause for a second here, feel into the places where you're in contact with something solid. Maybe lift up a little bit through the top of your head, let your eyes rest towards your fingertips, and maybe even closing them over and looking inside again for a moment. Notice how you are, notice what you feel. Notice the path of your next inhalation and your exhalation. Good one. We're going to release the hands and reach them back up and overhead as we inhale. Hands come to knees and we lean forward as we exhale. You might stay here for the inhale and you might stay here for the exhale. Alternatively, you could fold further forward, hands sliding down your legs or onto the ground. Next inhale, we're going to roll up from there, taking hold of the back of your right leg and lifting your right knee in and towards you. Have another breath in. Let that breath go as you release your foot down. We're going to round the back like we did before. Chin comes forward, shoulders come forward. Inhale, drawing shoulders back, lifting the chest. Exhale to round again. This time take hold of the back of your left leg. As you inhale, bring that knee up and in towards you. Exhale, plant it down. Hands slide either to knees or shins or down to the floor. Have a breath in. Forward fold as you breathe out. Next breath in, take your time to lift up, maybe reaching up, arms reach up. Exhale, hands come down, resting for a moment with your hands the center of your chest. Notice how you feel. Steady breath in and out. Good. We'll release the hands down and repeat that. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, hands to legs as you lean forward. Inhale, maybe you stay or maybe you fold forward on the exhale. Inhale, grab hold of your left leg as you lift up, knee towards chest. Exhale, release that and round your back. Inhale, pulling up and opening through the chest. And then round again. Exhale, grab hold of the back of your right leg. Inhale, lift, knee towards chest. Exhale, release and fold it forward. Stay halfway or go further. That's totally up to you, whether your head stays up or you release it forward. You get to decide. And then on your next inhale, rising up, maybe your arms lift up. Exhale, hands come back down towards the center of your chest. Pausing for a moment, notice how you feel, notice your breath. Great. We'll do 2 more of those. Take it at your own pace, move to your own rhythm. Inhale. Exhale, hands to legs as you fold. Inhale. Stay or fold further. Exhale. As you inhale, lifting right knee towards chest. Exhale, planting the foot and rounding your back. Inhale, lifting the chest, pulling the shoulders back. Exhale, rounding, taking hold of the left leg as you inhale, lift. Exhale, plant it back down, coming forward, either staying partially folded or releasing all the way forward, up to you. Take a cycle of breath. Hands on legs, floor, or on your props. Great, and then the next inhale, lifting, arms might rise up, hands together, center of the chest. One cycle of breath here. Last round, arms reach up, inhale. Exhale, hands to legs and fold. Inhale, a little bit of length in your back, and then exhale, stay or fold forward. Inhale, take hold of that left leg as you lift up, knee towards chest. Exhale, release and round your back. Inhale, pulling up through the chest, drawing back through the shoulders. Exhale to round, taking hold now of your right leg and lifting on an inhale. Exhale, dropping the foot down, hands to legs as you begin to fold. Inhale. Stay or come further forward as you exhale. Next inhale, rising up from there. Maybe gently looking towards your fingers, hands together in front of your chest as you exhale. Steady breath in and an easy breath out. Great, we're going to release that. And we'll take a couple of warrior poses here. So if you do have a chair with no arms on it, that might be handy at this stage. What we're going to do is turn sideways on the chair. So you're going to bring your left leg out to the side at a 90-degree angle. And then you're going to take your prop, if you have one, a block or a book or even a big pillow or something there that you could place your other knee on. So we're going to just have to fiddle around with that until we find the correct placement there. But that back knee is going to rest down onto that prop. And you've got your hips kind of turned towards your front leg. So your left knee here is bent at a 90-degree angle in front of you, and then your right leg is bent with your knee to the ground behind you. And you're still resting yourself on the seat. So we call this warrior one. We reach the arms up and overhead from here, pushing down into the front foot and the back knee and the place where you can feel your body on the chair. And then from that sense of being grounded and strong through your low body, we want to lift a little bit up at the bottom ribs without the shoulders kind of hugging next to the ears. So the arms could also be at your sides here, kind of in this cactus position, or even resting on your waist if that's uncomfortable in your shoulders. Maybe your eyes can softly focus on one point in front of you. You could also look up towards your hands, or even close your eyes over if that felt safe to do so. Good. And then we're going to take the hands together, bring them down in front of your chest, and just shift that slightly. So we're going to take that block maybe a little bit further back, and we're going to turn towards your side here. So you're kind of opening your hips and your shoulders to the side, now reaching the arms out from there. So essentially the legs stay almost in the same position. You might just have to shift a little to be able to facilitate that slight opening at the hips and the shoulders. But just do your best here, opening out through the arms if that feels okay. Again, you could have this sort of cactus shape. You could let the arms drop down. I like to take my eyes towards my front hands, so my left fingers, and just let them focus there for a moment. Notice the positioning of your shoulders, and if it feels like there's some tension there in your shoulders, what would it be like to soften them away from the ears a bit? One more breath here. And we'll release, let the arms drop down. We're just going to shift on our seat so that we turn the other way. Taking that block now to the other knee. So you've got your right leg out in front of you at this 90-degree angle, and your back knee on that block. Maybe it's on the floor if the floor is accessible, or a pillow or something else that you've got underneath your leg there. Good. Feel those places of contact, the front foot, the back knee, and where you're in contact with your seat. I've still got my pillow here for a bit of comfort there as I turn on my seat. So we're grounding down, and then considering the bottom of your rib cage, and maybe even bringing the hands there and creating a little bit of a lift there, almost like you're creating this bit of space between the the top of your hip bone and your lower ribs. And then we'll continue to lift from there. Your arms might reach up and overhead. Again, find the arm variation that suits you, the gaze that suits you, but see if you can for a moment steady your eyes on one point as a way of focusing your attention. And then steady your breath. Look for that steady, even rhythm that we created right at the beginning when you were counting your breath. Breathing into these places that are getting this stretch, that are receiving the benefits of this shape that you're in, Warrior One. We'll bring the hands down now together in front of your chest and just shifting slightly in your seat so you can turn the fronts of your hips and shoulders a little bit more to the side. For me, I need to move that block back a bit and kind of shift myself on my seat so that I have that ability to turn, maybe not fully to the side, but at least partially open to the side. I'm going to spread out from there through my arms, looking out towards the front fingers or anywhere else that suits you. And we'll pause. Let's take a few breaths here. Notice where you feel grounded, where you feel stable and strong. And in the places where maybe you feel a bit wobbly or not so stable or things are feeling a bit tricky, can you send yourself some compassion, some kindness for being here, for turning up, for looking after yourself like this? There's no perfect in yoga. There's just how you are today. So how are you today? And what can you do to help yourself to feel more present, to feel complete? Good one. Let's let the arms drop down as we shift in our seat again. We're going to turn around to center, just shift my pillow, and we're going to keep a wide position with the feet. So they're kind of wide apart, and I've got my toes pointing out a bit, but you do as you wish with your toes. I'm going to slide the hands slightly down towards the knees or even right onto the knees and lean into that a bit. So I'm leaning into my hands, or if it is more comfortable, you could lean into your elbows here. Take a big breath in. Then as you breathe out, take your right shoulder and just move it slightly more towards center. And that might be enough. You could turn a little bit through your head and look towards that back shoulder. Alternatively, you might bring it towards center, but also drop it forward. So you're getting into the shoulder, the side body, maybe the low back, and even into the inner leg here. Where you let your head rest is up to you. Looking down, looking to the side, or looking out over that back shoulder. One more steady breath here. So an inhale, and we stay there for the exhale. And then lifting back up and through to center. Full breath in. Second side, leaning it over. So it could be a little bit of a twist. It could be that you drop a little bit more. Just play around with it. Maybe it feels like you want to wiggle or move a little bit there. Do what feels right to you. Go ahead, excuse me, and have one or two more breaths there. Good. And we'll come through from there to center. Good. And we've still got the legs in that wide position. We'll bring the arms up into this sort of cactus shape. We're going to just take the arms and lift them up so the hands come towards each other overhead, and then bring them back down. And then we're going to bring them in so the forearms from elbows to fingertips touch, and open them back out. We'll repeat that again. Inhale, arms reach up and overhead, fingers towards each other. Exhale, they come down. Inhale, bringing the forearms together, and then exhale, opening them back out. Last cycle, inhale, reaching up, working the shoulders. Exhale, down. Inhale, they come towards each other, and exhale, opening that back out. Go ahead and let your arms rest down on your legs. We'll toe heel the feet so that they come a little bit closer together. So finishing up here, we're gonna take a breathing practice to finish off today. And the practice that we'll do is box breathing or a square breathing. So like we did at the start, we evened out our inhale and our exhale. We had the same rhythm and the same length. We're going to do that again, but we're going to add a breath retention. So our breath becomes a square, each part of it equal. Okay, so we're going to inhale For example, if you inhale to a count of 4, we then hold the breath for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 4, and then hold for 4 to complete that square. So let's do the first couple rounds together, and then I'll leave you to count your own breath. I'm going to use the number 4. Okay, so let's inhale through the nose if you can, and out through the nose without counting. Exhale. And then we begin. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause and hold the breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we hold at the bottom. 1, 2, 3. Again, inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. And hold. 2, 3, 4. So now you have the rhythm, or the way that it works. I'll get you to do that on your own. Choose the number that works for you. Not a number where you're struggling so much, but one where you can maintain that sequence a few times. If holding your breath makes you really uncomfortable, you just don't like to do that, it's overwhelming, it doesn't feel right, skip it. Okay, take the inhale and the exhale without the breath retention. So let's do 2 more cycles at your own pace, at your own speed. Noticing how you feel in each of those 4 parts of your breath. How the inhale makes you feel. How that breath hold at the top is. How you feel as you exhale. And what it's like to hold at the bottom. And after you've completed those 2 rounds, allow your breath to find its own rhythm. One that you don't need to control anymore, maybe just observing it. And as you did at the start, keeping your gaze internal for a moment, notice how you are as you finish off this practice. Noticing physical, so what you feel in your body, those places that you noticed at the start, are they the same? Has anything shifted or changed? Noticing any emotional content that's there for you. Was that present at the start? Is it different now? How do you feel mentally from start to finish? It's my hope that we've created a little bit of space today, both in your body, in your heart, and in your mind. So let's take the hands to the opposite shoulders or upper arms, giving the muscles a squeeze, maybe even a little slight massage there. Let your chin drop down and into your chest as you give yourself a hug here to say thank you to yourself. And as you're ready, let your eyes lift. Thank you so much for joining. Take care, and I'll see you next time.